This video is to review order of operations. The goal of the video is to evaluate expressions using the order of operations. So let's review the steps for order of operations. Step 1, do operations that occur within grouping symbols. Step 2, evaluate exponents. Step 3, do multiplications and divisions from left to right. And step 4, do additions and subtractions from left to right. So remember, we have an acronym PEMDAS to help us remember the steps to complete the order of operations. So let's start trying some problems. Remember, in number 1 we have 100 minus 40 divided by 2 squared. So remember PEMDAS again. In this case there are no grouping symbols, so we can skip the first step and move to the second step. 2 squared is an exponent, so that's where we're going to start this problem. So 2 squared is 4, so we have 100 minus 40 divided by 4. Now we have the operations of subtraction and division left. So remember, with PEMDAS, division comes before subtraction, so we're going to do 40 divided by 4. So we get 100 minus 10, which simplifies to 90. Number 2, 48 divided by parentheses 10 minus 6 minus 17. 10 minus 6 is in parentheses, so this is where we're going to start our problem. So 10 minus 6 is 4, so we have 48 divided by 4 minus 17. We have a division and a subtraction. Division comes first. So we have 48 divided by 4, which is 12, minus 17. 12 minus 17 gets us negative 5. Number 3. 12 parentheses 12 times 3 divided by 4 minus 4 squared plus 5 times 9. So we're going to start over here in our parentheses, and in the parentheses there's 2 steps because there's a multiplication and a division. So we have to do that in the order of left to right since they are the same importance. So first we're going to do 12 times 3, which is 36, divided by 4, which gets us 9. So I'm going to just rewrite the rest of the problem now. So we have 9 minus 4 squared plus 5 times 9. So next step is to look and see if we have any exponents. We have a 4 squared, so that's our next step. So 19 minus 16 plus 5 times 9. Step 3 in order of operations is division or multiplication. We have a multiplication in this problem. We have 5 times 9, so we have 9 minus 16 plus 45. Now we're going to do addition and subtraction from left to right, and so the same importance. So first, 9 minus 16. Since 16 is a bigger number, we're going to end up with a negative. So here we have negative 7 plus 45. Then we have negative 7 plus 45. 45 is bigger, so we're going to end up with a positive 38. Number 4, 3 times parentheses 2 minus 4 squared plus 14 divided by 5 parentheses 5 plus 2. So first step is we need to do our sets of parentheses. So we have negative 3 times negative 2 squared plus 14. We can also do this parentheses divided by 7. Our next step is exponents. Now, this is a negative 2 squared. The negative stays with the 2, that's why the parentheses are still there. So when we are squaring negative 2, just as a little side note, remember that's really negative 2 times negative 2, which gets us positive 4. It's important to keep the parentheses with the negative so that we know we want a positive when we square this. So we have negative 3 times 4 plus 14 divided by 7. So our next step is to multiply and divide, so we can multiply first from the left. Negative 12 plus 14 divided by 7. We have a division, so that's our next step. Negative 12 plus 2. And then we can finally add. Since negative 12 is the bigger number, our answer stays negative, so we get negative 10. Number 5 is the same idea. There's just fraction looking now. So we still look and see, are there any grouping symbols? In this case, there are none, so we move to the second step, which is exponents. Down here we have a 7 squared. So I'm just going to rewrite my fraction. 14 times 2 over 8 plus 49 minus 1. Our next step then is any multiplication or division. We have a multiplication on the top, so our next step is to multiply. 2 times 14 gets us 28, and on the bottom we have 8 plus 49 minus 1. Our next step is to add or subtract, so we can add 8 plus 49. I'm just going to move this up here. So that gets us 28 over 57 minus 1. Next is to subtract, so 28 divided by 57 minus 1, we're going to do 57 minus 1. That gets us 28 over 56. The last step in this case is to always look at our fractions and see if we can reduce them. In this case, both numbers are divisible by 28, so this is going to reduce to 1/2 for our final answer. Now let's look at some problems where we have to substitute before we can do order of operations. So in number 6 we have 16 plus 9k. This really means 9 times k when k equals 9. So the first step that we have to do is we have to take this 9 and substitute it in for k. So we're going to rewrite the problem. 16 plus 9 times 9. Now when I substitute something in, I put it in parentheses just in case it was to ever have a negative with it. I would know that the negative stays with that. So now when I look at this, I have 16 plus 9 times 9. So with order of operations, my first step would be to multiply. So I have 16 plus 81. And then 16 plus 81, when I add those, I get 97. Number 7, we have a fraction 30h divided by 2 plus h when h equals 2. And that's over 10 squared minus 80. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 and we're going to substitute in for h. So when I rewrite this, I have 30 times 2 divided by parentheses 2 plus 2. And the denominator stays the same, so 10 squared minus 80. There was no h to substitute into with the bottom. So when I look at this, my first step is going to be the parentheses. So 2 plus 2, we have 30 times 2 divided by 4 over 10 squared minus 80. So my next step is to look at this problem, and I see that there's an exponent. So I'm going to do the exponent of 10 squared. So I'm going to rewrite this 30 times 2 divided by 4 all over 100 minus 80. Next step is the multiplication and division, which are on the top or the numerator of my fraction. And from left to right, I'm going to multiply first. So 60 divided by 4 over 100 minus 80. Then I can divide. 60 divided by 4 is 15. So we have 100 minus 80 in the denominator. Now I can do subtraction. So I'm left with 15 over 20. Both of these numbers are divisible by 5, so my final answer is 3/4. Remember to reduce your fractions whenever possible. Number 8. X squared divided by 2 plus 7 when x equals 4. So we're going to substitute 4 in for x and rewrite this problem. So I have 4 squared divided by 2 plus 7. 4 squared is my exponent, so that's my first step, and that gets me 16 divided by 2 plus 7. 16 divided by 2 is 8 plus 7. 8 plus 7, 15 is my final answer. Once you've completed the notes, go on to the in-class practice and then take the quiz on Canvas.